All right, so I'm at the house prior to the interview tonight, right? And I'm thinking, bro, I'm in this space right now where a lot of self-evaluation, a lot of self-inventory is something that we talk about on the show a lot.
I'm proud of you too, Chief.
I appreciate
you handling it well, man.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. It's all about growth. And I actually had a conversation with somebody about that today, but that's another topic for another day. That being said, we all kind of understand that our bodies are a shell, right? And it houses our spirit.
It's just a vessel.
It's a vessel, 100%, right? And so within that space of that cognitive space and freedom, I really just wanted to leverage the time and kind of be in solitude and think and no music, no talking to anybody, no social media, nothing like that, right? And so I think it's so vehemently important to just be able to be by yourself for a little bit to collect your thoughts. And in that moment, as we're getting ready for our guest today on today's show, I thought about the body, and I thought about the body being a shell. And I want to get your take on this, okay? You ever seen the good angel and the bad angel, or the devil or whatever on our shoulders?
Mm-hmm.
Where you have like these.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I understand your sentiment.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So I started thinking, kind of like if you can imagine this body, right, and these and this super micro small being pushing us, driving us to our goals, dreams, aspirations, visions, etc. And then I started thinking about, well, I understand, because I'm getting into the seven universal laws, right? I'm really studying that. And then you have the universal law of polarity, right? So what does it look like if you have this soul, this instrument, this being that's pressing you forward? That would have to mean you have a counteract to that, right? A counterweight. And then you got this small, equally sized, equally strong being pushing in the opposite direction. And not opposite in terms of, failure versus success in the literal sense or surface level sense, right? But more so, like, I'm going to press you towards your distractions. I'm going to press you more towards the alcohol, towards the weed, the women, the men, the going out, versus pressing into reading, getting better, so on and so forth. And I just wanted to collect your thoughts, because and I'll be very frank with you, Mo, I'm working through that. Just in a season of working through me, I'm working through that. And I just thought it was super, super profound, especially given our guest that we have today. But I'm just curious, and I know this is like, you haven't heard me talk about this at all, because this is like 100% fresh, authentic, or whatever. But like, we got these two souls, or two beings that make up our soul, that are pressing us forward, or pressing us backwards, or pressing us sideways, or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think our buddy Stuman talked about it when we sat with him a long time ago. Shout out to Stuman.
Yeah, what up, Stu?
What is it? What do you call it? The force of average?
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah. FOA.
It's there's some type of design or matrix, whatever term you want to use, to where like it wants to keep you just right in the middle. Like, you're not necessarily bad.
That's
great.
External. I'm talking about internally.
Yeah, it's the internal battle. It's the,
because the word you like to use is internal mechanism a lot of times.
Yeah, it's internal mechanism. Like, you have to wake up every day, and it's almost like you got to like trick yourself. Like, I'm going to wake up every day and make a conscious decision to do something positive and constructive. Now, no one is 100%, right?
So right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you get up in the morning, you say, hey, I'm going to make this conscious decision to be constructive, to move things forward in a positive fashion.
Oh.
But there's an equal force fighting against you internally that's saying, no, I'm going to distract you.
I do my best to either ignore or stomp down that at every turn. Every phone call, I'm in the business I'm in, every phone call, every email, every interaction I have with somebody, whether it's somebody I'm currently doing business with, potentially doing business with, or just got introduced to through a third party, every interaction, I do my absolute best, at least on my part, right? I can't work for other people, but I do my absolute best to make sure that it is forward motion at all times. Like I can't afford negative energy. I can't afford it. Like it's got to be forward
here's
motion.
the deal. This is what I'm saying. So inside
My vessel.
your vessel, that little angel or whatever, right, is pressing that button to move forward.
Oh,
But you have an opposing angel that's looking to distract you, right?
Sure.
What you're talking about is external distractions. What I'm talking about are internal distractions and who's winning that particular battle. I think there's a number of visionaries out there that are struggling with this, right? That want to get to a specific place or points within their lives, but they're battling with their past. They're battling with depression. They're battling with anxiety. They're battling with communication. They're battling with public speaking or whatever the situation is, right? And I haven't fully gotten all the way into it, but it was so pronounced today in that when you wake up and you say, hey, I'm going to press forward regardless, and I'm going to do everything I can throughout the course of my work day to make sure that every activity is functional and every activity yields a productive result, right? But there's also an internal force inside of all of us. I believe this, right? And we're on a spiritual realm, right, that I'm talking about, that is pressing against that in the opposite direction or maybe in a lateral direction, right? Maybe that spiritual force is not pushing you to be unsuccessful, quote unquote, but maybe it's pushing you to be satisfactory where you are. Maybe it's pushing you to be distracted or whatever. Anyways, I just thought, one of the things that we don't really do a lot on the show, we're knocking on the door 200 episodes, right?
shout out to us.
Yeah, for sure. Is we never spend time to kind of talk about that, but I thought it was apropos specifically with our guest today, right? I'm tremendously excited about it. And we'll get into that here momentarily, but I was just kind of curious what your thoughts might be on it.
Yeah, man. It's a no matter what you're trying to do in life, right? Like it's a daily. I don't want to use the word struggle or battle, but it's a daily task. It's something that's got to be done on a daily basis, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're trying to get accomplished. It's the yin and yang of life, right?
Yeah.
Like if it was just that easy to be 1,000 miles an hour and there were never any detours and never any obstacles in the road that we're traveling or whatever, everybody would be great. And but the game ain't set up that way.
Yeah, I met a young lady again prior to the show that was talking about she's going through a divorce, and I can relate. You know what I mean? And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I was like, "Well, why?" You know what I'm saying? Like within every life there's stresses. Okay? And within that stress you have the option. You can choose to wallow in said stress, pain, hurt, guilt, whatever. Or you could choose to say, this is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to get better. This is an opportunity to move my self-conscious forward. And so we had that conversation, and it was weird. And this is someone that I don't even really know, like at all. And it resonated so well, so profoundly with her that she started crying. And I was like, okay, I don't do it. I don't do with that. But that kind of led me into this thought process of the internal mechanisms, you know what I'm saying, that we have. And I think there may be truth, and I have to study it and look deeper into it. I just want to get your thoughts, but I think there may be truth to, you may have two different forces inside your internal mechanism that are battling to see who wins. And not to be, salacious or anything to that capacity, but it's like, when our parents conceived, right? There are 100 million sperm or whatever that number is that are fighting for that one
spot.
egg. Yeah.
Talk about exclusivity.
Yeah, 100%. So we've already won in life. Like, visionaries, I want y'all to know you've already won just by getting to the egg. You know what I'm saying? So
That's real limited inventory.
Yeah, that's going all the way back. Man, we're getting way off topic. And then we ain't even started the show. Let's get into it. Hey, what up, everybody? I'm Cuff with the Vision Lab Podcast. I got my partner, Mo. We're in the lab. We're getting it in. So happy that you guys decided to join us today. You guys are going to be richly blessed with today's guest. This is someone that I've known for roughly 20, 25 years. I'm super, super excited that she has decided to jump into the lab. And she's no novice to the microphone. Mo, who do we got on the show today?
Cuff, today's guest is a native of Arlington, Texas. She is a realtor for the Rose Group. She is a mom, and she's the host of her own podcast titled Queendom Talks.
Yes.
Please welcome LaKenya Rose Barrett to the Vision Lab Podcast.
What up, what up, what up, and good morning. How are we doing, lovely?
I am doing excellent. How are you all?
Man, listen, blessed and highly favored, as the black folk like to say.
Exactly.
You know, it's such a honor and a privilege to have you jump into the lab with us. I'm tremendously proud of you from afar, right?
Well, thank you.
We've known each other, what, 96? 96, 97?
Probably 97, but yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So it's awesome to have you on the show, and I'll tell you why you got on the show, and we'll get into all that momentarily. But it's super good to see you.
It's good to see you.
You know, I don't think we've seen each other
Not since high school.
since high school. I graduated in 99.
Yeah,
You 2000.
that's right.
So what in the world have you been up to in the last 23 years?
Oh, Lord.
Catch me up in 5 minutes in 23 years.
Life.
Yeah.
Life. Living life. Being a mom. Being a wife. Business owner. Entrepreneur. Just
Podcast host.
podcast host. That's my recent baby. That's something new.
We definitely gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, mom, wife, podcaster, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Is this the life that you set out for?
I know I always wanted to make an impact.
Okay,
And I feel like the life that I've created, I'm able to do that.
it's impactful.
That's right.
Why?
What do you mean, why? How so?
How is it impactful?
Okay, so just in my business itself, I'm able to help. A lot of my business, the majority of my business are first-time home buyers. The first ones in their family to purchase a home. And just to be able to be a part of that experience,
Yeah.
it's major.
Yeah, for sure.
Help people
know-
cross that barrier.
Exactly.
So,
help them to get into creating generational wealth and just explaining that process.
So many of us have wanted to get into the world of real estate, and we're very fortunate that all three of us play a helping hand in some capacity. Yourself as a realtor, myself as a lender, Mo as the conduit, as the connector.
I'm a
right?
walking land plug. Get it right. I'm a land plug.
He's the land plug. So if you guys are looking for land and you're watching this episode, make sure you holler at Mo at the Vision Lab Podcast on IG or the Vision Lab at yahoo.com. But what sparked your interest into the world of real estate, which is a vast ocean of opportunity?
So it's so crazy how I even got into real estate. I was probably 23 trying to purchase my first home. At this point, I was a underwriter for a life and health insurance company. And so it was a pretty decent job. That's a great job to have, considering I didn't finish college. I mean, to be able to come in and still get that job was great. And so I just loved everything about it. It was all fun and games. You know, I didn't see the work behind the scenes like I see now. I thought, oh, I get to go show houses and look at houses all day. And
Yeah.
I thought it was all fun and games, but that's what sparked my interest into.
That's actually a good point. We've had a number, because obviously we are in the real estate space.
We traffic in that space,
Yeah.
as they say.
Oh, that's good. I like
We
that.
traffic in it, baby.
You know, we're investors, flippers, and all that stuff. But a lot of people see the glitz and the glamour from the social media perspective, your Instagram, your Facebook, blah, blah, blah. But there's real work that's done behind the scenes to put forward kind of that picture or that video that you're seeing. So you came from the world of underwriting into real estate. It was eye-opening.
Very much so.
What are some of the things that people don't see that don't make it to the reels, that don't make it to the Instagram pictures and Facebook posts?
It's the hard work behind the scenes. It's the heartbreak. It's the the hours of negotiating a contract. You know, people are making a large purchase. This is probably going to be the largest purchase that they've ever made.
Yeah.
So they're focused on that number of the purchase, and they're emotionally attached to either the house that they're having to sell. They have their memories there. They have their kids there, whatever the case may be. And so it's very emotional for them. And I think the hardest part is just managing everyone's emotions and still keeping my emotions at a level pace. I think that is the hardest part because it's emotional. It's very emotional.
You know, we live obviously in the great state or great country of Texas, right? We've been very fortunate.
Say it again.
Texas got a lot of pride. We know that.
Better than Florida.
Yeah.
Big facts. Big facts.
Not much, but go ahead.
But, you know, over the last, because from a lender, right, it's tough as a lender,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're on the, in the wake of the lowest interest rates that we've ever seen in this country, prior to them coming out to, you know, financing, et cetera. But for me, when I look at the market, right, it's some trepidation. It's some concern. It's, hey, you got to get on your knees and work. You know, you're scrubbing it out. You know what I mean? But from a realtor, and I know you're feeling kind of a little bit of the same thing, but you get a chance to work with people, right? The transaction ends with that person. What are they seeing right now in today's market in July of 2023?
So, first of all, they're still stuck on interest rates.
Yeah.
Boy.
They're still stuck on interest rates. So
They're
that's
spoiled.
Exactly. And so just trying to get them to understand, hey, this is normally the average. This is where interest rates normally are. Just trying to get them to understand the concept. Interest rates were at an all-time low. I don't know if or when we will ever get back there.
You can be honest with them and tell them it ain't coming back.
We won't get back there, but it will even out, and everybody will chill out.
Hold on, let me say this. So my sister's got a 1.9, 1.8 or whatever,
Wow.
and you know I was like, listen, I don't care what happens in your life.
Don't lose
You never ever get rid of that rate.
That's right.
And that's only, you know, that's one of those one-offs. Like you're in the half percentile, you know, like you don't do that because I don't sell on rate either. You know what I mean? I don't like it's not about the rate because you can always refinance, do some other things, blah, blah, blah. But we've got to condition and educate the masses on it's not about rate. Because back in the day when your parents, my parents, Mo parents bought houses, we're at 18, 20%.
That's right. They had credit card interest rates.
Yeah,
They
for
had
sure.
Credit card interest rates. And I think education is a big thing across the board. You know, a lot of people are coming to you wanting to buy a home, but they don't know, hey, I don't know what my credit score is. What do I have to have? What does it look like? What's the step? How much money do I need saved? Education in purchasing a home is a big. And so that's what I find my job most of the time at the very beginning is education. I lead with educating. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to know the process.
How did you get educated in the world of real estate? What did that process look like?
Wow.
So the reason why I'm asking you this because we have a lot of visionaries that are tuning in. By the way, if you like the content that you've heard thus far, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. But you know, when you were coming up in the ranks, right? How did you get educated? What did that process look like for you?
So I got my license in 06.
Okay.
You know that
right before the crash.
Right
Yeah.
before the crash. So I really didn't know what I was getting into. I went into a bad market. I went into the crash. And so a lot of my education has been trial and error. And what you will find is everybody's not willing to give you information. Real estate is very competitive. But there are some good people out there that will give you some information. So it's about picking up jewels from you, going to have lunch with you. You have to be a person that's going to make it happen in order to learn. Who are you surrounding yourself with in the industry? I had some great people to come along that I was able to pick their brains. They were able to sew into me. Some Tyranny Jordans. I don't know if you all know Tyranny Jordan, but she's awesome. She's phenomenal. So, I mean, I just had great agents. I was blessed to be around different agents that they were able to sew into me, and I've been doing this since '06, so it's just trial and error.
So I have to ask, because you mentioned, and that is part of a realtor's job, is to really educate their clients. And with you dealing with a lot of first-time home buyers, and I deal with this in my part of the real estate wheel, like you got to really understand your audience, your client, whoever it is you're talking to, right? What's your mental approach when dealing with a first-time home buyer? And I ask it in the sense of, how quickly do you have to process, okay, am I dealing with somebody who's watched a bunch of HGTV, or am I dealing with somebody who started from scratch? Like, one, how quickly do you process that, and how does that affect your approach when dealing with them?
So I have systems in place. So initially, when anyone comes to me, before we ever go view a property, we're going to have a buyer's consultation.
Okay.
During that buyer's consultation, I'm going to make sure that you're prepared for what's about to happen.
Okay.
And so I prep you on the market, what to expect from the market. And I even have a line in my buyer's consultation. I don't know if you watch HGTV, but that's not the market we're in. You're not
That ain't
gonna,
real.
You're not going to get $20,000 off the asking price. Just go, I prep them very well. I'm very big into educating my clients. So I lead with education. We don't go see a house without having that education, that conversation. That's what I lead with.
From a vision standpoint, because like in my line of work, like I'm on the raw land side, so I've kind of got to be able to see what's not there. You having the experience in dealing with a lot of first time buyers, how do you take like you can see what's about to happen way more, you've got way more experience, and you got the foresight, and you've got the knowledge of like, okay, this is going to play out like XYZ. How do you, one, relay that to your client, and then two, how do you spoon feed them?
And again, it goes back to that buyer's consultation. I set the table there. That's where I set the table of what's going to happen, what you can expect, and what my role is going to be throughout this process. I set the tone of what to expect at that consultation. And the way I do it is I just lay it out. I'm very upfront. I'm very honest with my clients. A lot of them are excited. They're nervous. They don't know what to expect. So they're ready to learn. And I correct them if there's needs, I'm asking, what are you thinking? Do you have any questions before we get started? How can I help you?
It reminds me of when I bought my first house, and you feel like it's not a simple transaction. Number one,
you can only read so many books, and then there's
not even that. Like, you just kind of feel like it, because most people, I'm assuming that you're working with, are late 20s, early 30s, right?
A lot of them, yeah.
At their first time home buyers. Yeah. And you, like, for me, I'm thinking, okay, well, look, 20% down, 3% down, 5% down, whatever I want to do. The market is this, and okay, so it's $100,000 for the house. I need to put 3% down. I got $3,000. I'm calling up Kenya. Hey, I want to buy a house, and you think that it's that simple, right? But there's other things that are involved. You know. Right. So I love the question that you asked, Mo, in terms of setting the foundation.
I love the word the phrase you setting the table, because I find myself having to do that. Like, I have to process really quickly, like, okay, who am I dealing with in regards to personality type, knowledge, like, are they aware of what's going on in area XYZ where they're looking at purchasing this piece of property? And I got to process all that before I actually like engage with them, because depending on what they're coming to the table with will depend on what type of conversation we're going to have.
Yeah, for sure. So to piggyback on Mo's question, what is it that's, as a realtor who's been in the game 15 plus years, 20 years, what are you challenged with?
Wow. I think
it's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is. And
let me give you some credit. Let me give you some credit.
Okay.
Because I know you want to help people.
I do.
You want to help people realize their dream. and I come to you and I say, okay, LaKenya, I want to buy a house. It's $100,000. I got $3,000. Like, what are you challenged with in terms of, okay, how do I move forward with this guy?
I'm going to be very honest with you.
Okay.
There's no homes in that.
Well, no, let's just say
arbitrarily.
That and so that's what it is. That's what it looks like. It's
Okay.
a very honest conversation that we're going to have.
Okay.
About setting your expectations of what to expect in this market.
Okay.
And so you're saying, okay, this is what you have. Okay, well, let's sit down. Have you already talked to a lender?
No.
Okay, you haven't. That's no problem. I have a list of lenders that you can go to. Ryan Cuffy.
Thank you.
Come on now.
Come on, man.
Let's recycle this money
Yes,
now.
yes, you know. And so
Gotta coach him up, Mo.
Come on now.
yeah. So I have those systems in place, those checks points. So you're gonna come to me. Your first step is selecting a realtor. By you being on this call with me, I'm hoping that means that I will be your realtor. Silent.
Period.
Drop,
Hard
drop
stop.
the mic. Drop the mic. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, great. Okay, great.
I like her.
great.
Yeah.
So next is getting pre-qualified. Have you spoke to a lender?
No, ma'am.
No worries. I have a list of lenders. All of them are great. The most important part is that you feel comfortable with your lender, because the lender is the most important part of the transaction. And we go on, and it goes from there. And one,
I love how you just went into character like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
So we're talking about you and being a realtor. I want to give you the opportunity to tell all of our visionaries, anyone that's looking for a realtor, anyone that's looking to possibly purchase a home, right? Why LaKenya Rose?
This is okay. I want to say this. Not all of my clients are first-time home buyers.
Sure.
I have $1 million clients as well as first-time home
I
buyers.
need to get you hooked up with me.
That's right. But why LaKenya? Because I'm going to treat you and walk you through this process as if you were my sister, if you were my mom. I'm not out for the dollar amount. I'm not out to just looking for my commission. You know how they say you have commission breath? That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure we get the best deal possible to get you to the closing table, to get you the house that you want. So, yeah.
So you have their best interest at heart.
I do.
Well, I'm imagining she would subscribe to the theory too, especially in the real estate world. That's a good phrase, commission breath. But for the most
Never
part,
heard that before.
For the most part, if you do right by people in real estate, for the most part, they will do right by you. So it's one of those things where, like, if you do your job the way it's supposed to be done, you're going to be taken care of it for the most part, dealing with the right people. Now, there are signs that you will see along the road if you happen to be dealing with somebody who, you know, is a little shaky. I'll be nice about that. But for the most part, if you do right by people and you do what you're supposed to do, most people have no problem taking care of you.
And there's grace in that too, right? Even as lenders, a lot of times you'll have what appears to be a clean file. Mo has everything. Mo has a W-2. Mo has the income. Mo has great DTI. Mo's got the down payment. Whatever it is, and then all of a sudden, Mo didn't tell you that he's got a $6,500 balance with the county of XYZ. And you're like, well, why didn't you tell me that? And Mo's like, well, I didn't know.
I didn't know.
You know, so those type of things happens. And so it's so important for you to have a working relationship with your lender, for your lender to have a working relationship with the buyer on what, you know, how to navigate through those particular waters. I want to give a shout out to a number of my clients that have reached back out to me because they know that hopefully they've witnessed or experienced like me doing right by them.
That's right.
And going the extra mile and talking to underwriters and being like, wait a minute, guidelines say this, but you're telling me this, but we can do this, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's so important to do that. It's a team effort, and I don't think that people understand that. I think that they think that it's an open and shut case, at least on the non-raw land deal side.
Yeah,
It's not open
I operate
and
in a
shut.
different world, but yeah.
It's you're what is it called, the open market,
What are you talking about?
like where you are.
Man, I'm in I swim in
It's
deep
open
water.
market though, right?
Yeah, that's a word to put it. I swim in deep waters, Chief. That's the best way. Like someone
But
asked me,
for
like,
somebody that doesn't understand that, right? Like you're in a different space, but in the world that we operate in, it's pretty much cut and dry. Either you're going to fit this mold,
That is true.
or you don't.
Yes. Okay. That is a great word.
Yeah.
You can, the open market. In regards to my part of it, it's an open market, and it's getting where you fit in. Can you be creative? Are you willing to figure something out? And if you're willing to do that, then you can make a lot of really cool stuff happen. That's a good way to put it. The open market.
So real quickly before, because I want to transition, Mo. How can anybody that's watching this, right? How can they get a hold of you if they're in Texas or they're moving to Texas?
Or they don't just have to be in Texas.
Yeah, okay. You licensed other states?
I'm not licensed, but I do have referral partners that
There we go.
that will take great care of them and offer the same kind of service that I will provide for them here.
Okay.
She
so
and
how
I are
can
going
they,
to work together. I love her thought process.
Hey, like don't limit me, my boy.
I got you covered.
Yeah.
Don't limit
Yes,
me.
that's
No,
right.
but how can they get a hold of you? That's the most important thing. How can they get a hold of LaKenya Rose?
You can reach me at 817-523-9644. You can find my website, www.therosegrouprealestateteam.com. I'm on Google. Google me. I'm there.
And she does answer the phone. We can personally attest to
Yeah,
it. She
she
will
does.
answer the phone.
And if she
I will
doesn't
call you
answer,
back.
she'll call you back.
I will call
She
you
did
back.
call, yeah, she does call back.
yeah.
So shout out to you for that.
Thanks.
I'm curious over your experience. What, like you're juggling. So you're a mother
I am.
and a wife.
And a wife.
Okay, I probably should have said you're a wife
That's right.
and a mother. My bad. My apologies.
Slipping, homie.
Yeah. And then also a business owner.
Yeah.
How do you? And we talked about this on offline, but how do you balance / juggle that? Because I don't believe in the word balance,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
definitely
learned
no
that from
balance.
Mo.
There's no balance. For me, I love my clients. I have systems in place so we can have a smooth transaction. But like I told you during that buyer's consultation, I'm going to tell them, hey, if you call me after 7, I'm with my family. So just having clear cutoff times, because real estate can consume your life.
Whew.
People will text you at 1 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning.
sure
They'll
will.
text you at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Because they're working.
It's when they think about it.
Yeah.
It's major to them. It's emotional. So they're going to call and reach out to you whenever it crosses their mind. So I have clear boundaries. I have systems in place, but I don't believe in a balance. Something is going to suffer.
Yeah.
Something is going to suffer. And I think one of the things, what helped me with that is I had to determine what success looks like for me.
Okay. Pause. What does success look like to you?
For me to be successful, I have to be successful as a mom and a wife first.
As a wife and a mom first.
As a wife and a mom first.
See, you did the same thing I
the
did.
same thing.
That's my fault, not yours.
Exactly.
I set the
reason
foundation.
Why I say that is because I was trying to go for numbers that other agents were doing. But their life wasn't set up like my life. What they valued is not what I value. Yes, money is great, but I value quality time with my family. I value spending time with my husband. I value my kids because I know how precious that time is. Once a person is gone, you can't get that back.
Speak.
So I had to determine what success looked like to me. And so my family, if I am able to take my kids to school, pick my kids up from school, go on dates with my husband, maybe we can sneak away and have a lunch date, that's successful to me. I'm not trying to get your numbers. Your numbers is great.
A lot of us, so we're older now. We're seasoned, right?
A little bit, yeah.
But yet still hungry.
Speak
for yourself.
We're seasoned. You're seasoned.
Speak for yourself.
You're there. You're seasoning. But we have this when you're young, like I gotta go get it mentality, right? And then obviously life happens, and then it becomes okay. I definitely gotta go get it because I got a family, right? In respect to balancing career, family, motherhood, etc., how do you balance that amongst ascertaining career goals? Because I understand in sales, it's so easy to say it's a numbers game, right? But you also have real responsibilities. So what you gave us, the first answer, love it, great. Everyone's going to say that. Cool. And we like to pull the curtain back here in the lab.
Let's go.
Okay. But when you see your counterparts who may or may not be as good as you, who are doing a little bit better than you, and you understand that, hey, well, you don't have the circumstances that I have, that competitive drive to want to do more, right? How are you dealing with that?
So,
like, I want some raw.
I'm about to give it to you. I think my situation is a little different. My life, the way my life was set up, is a little different. For me, I watched my dad die at 11. So the value
of life
is completely different. So yeah, I see you up here and I see your numbers, and that's great. And I'm going to support you. But when I start having kids, that's time that I know I can't get back. So my setup is different.
Yeah, I respect that.
We're not starting at the same. We're not starting at the plane.
We're not the same.
We're not the same. What you value is not what I value.
Your riches are in the roots in your family.
That's it.
Because you lost years.
Yeah, exactly.
You lost your father having the opportunity to walk you down the aisle.
Exactly.
Prom. Photos and things like that. Yeah, God, I received that so much.
Although I'm competitive, you can have that all day long. What are your kids saying? What are your kids saying? Are you making memories with your kids? How are you waking your kids up in the morning time? Because, of course, our jobs can be very stressful. People are putting their energy onto you. I am very intentional on how I wake my kids up in the morning time. How do I start their day off?
What does that look like?
It's important for me to start their day off with love and joy. Not, hey, get up, it's time to go to school.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's good. That's
a
good.
pet peeve. That's like, ugh, I don't want to start
That's
your
a stress.
I don't
The first thing you hear is a stress.
Grand Rising. Good morning, Prince. Good morning, Princess. Are you ready to make today a great day? Let's go get it.
I want to circle back because I didn't know this. 11 years old.
11 years old.
What did life look like from that's such a vital time in your life. So I got a 13-year-old. A lot of folks know this, right?
Shout out to Anaya.
Yeah, A Bear, what up? Although we did get into it yesterday. So let's just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not happy with what she did, but neither here nor there. Such a vital time in a young man's life, either way, right? To not have a father. What did life look like moving forward from 11 to 18, 18 to whatever, 25, 25 to 30? You know, there's every moment.
Yeah.
There's every moment, literally, like, you know, whether it be softball, soccer, tap, ballet, dance, cheerleading.
Yeah, there was a lot of
daddy. So I just bought this book real quick.
Okay.
I just bought this book for a little bit, right? And it's Daddy's Girl, right? And I'm gonna give y'all some game. Your boy's writing a children's book right now, so it'll I don't know when it will come out, but it will happen. So hopefully you guys support. But it's called Daddy's Girl, and it talks about all the things dads do, blah blah blah, which is cool, right? But for me, as a father with a daughter, you being a woman who was a little girl at one point, right? That is so important to me. But offline, I told you I only wanted, a girl. I never wanted boys. So I'm curious, at 11 years old, moving forward in your life, what that was like. What that experience was like with not having daddy.
Well, I definitely have to start prior. I can't get to what it looked like after without saying, I know everyone says, hey, I had the best dad in the world. But literally, I had that the best dad in the world. Very hands-on. He was the dad that would ride his bike to school with us and pick us up on bikes, and very family-oriented. He was a preacher. He was a pastor. So he was very hands-on. He was very much in the house, very much active. And so I feel like the night my dad passed away 5 days before Christmas, the night that he was murdered, childhood ended.
It did. It did. 100% did. Absolutely.
Childhood ended at that moment. Nothing was ever the same. In the sense of, I immediately took a different position in my household. I immediately played a different role. I felt like it was my responsibility to be the voice, the protector. My dad he catered to my mom. Like, she never pumped gas. She didn't know what. She was just she was a housewife without being a housewife. He loved his wife. So he led with love. So that's what we seen growing up, so I
love that. Let's not gloss over that.
No.
Lead with love.
He definitely.
Shout out to Dad.
Yeah, they were high school sweethearts. So it was very, so I definitely, my life changed. It changed in the sense that, hey, no childhood anymore. I have to have a different level of responsibility. I felt like I had to be a protector. Don't say anything to my mom. My dad's not here. I'll get you. Don't say anything to my sister. I'll get you. So it was just a different level of protection. Again, childhood ended.
How do you move as an 11-year-old? How do you move forward? I understand the concept of.
So I'll give you an example of that. The night that my dad was murdered, we were at the house. I was actually the one with him when he took his last breath. So the police asked us to leave the house, and we went to a neighbor's house. And so we had been there for some time, and they came and they said, hey, let's pray. No, let's not pray. Is my dad dead or alive?
Immediately,
that's my response. Let's get to it. Like, don't sugar. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Like, let me know. And so that's kind of how it changed.
Why was that your thought process? Because, we got to go back. So this is super dope, right? So this is 1992, 3, 4-ish, somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
This isn't 2023,
No.
right? So for a child to be like, no, that's not good enough. Why did your mind go there?
I can't tell you why.
Or how?
It's God. It's like, I'm telling you, I literally felt like this is the moment that it's time for me to step up. Like, that's the only way I can explain.
You knew he was passing away?
I heard him when he took his last breath. I knew it.
Wow.
I knew it. So yeah.
So much respect right now.
But so much comes with that. So much comes with that. A lot comes with that.
So without, digging that up, right? Not that we're afraid of it, but out of respect, you're 11. So tell me what happens. Like, what's the real deal? Don't sugarcoat it. Moving into, like, you're not even in high school, or excuse me, junior high.
Not yet.
You're not even in junior high.
No.
High school, you got junior high, you got high school, you got college, you got all these different things. Like, how do you traverse that landscape?
First, it's nobody but God.
Amen.
No one. But I had an awesome mother.
Yeah.
Looking back, the best advice, keep in mind, when my dad passed away, we had just got out for Christmas break.
Yeah. That's so true.
I give my mom so much credit. We went back to school when everyone else went back to school.
You're lying.
We went back to school when everyone else went back to school. And I think that's one of the greatest lessons I learned in life. You can push through. You can make it. You don't wallow in it. You feel those feelings and emotions, but you push through. Yeah.
this doesn't happen very often, but I'm at a, I don't want to say a loss for words. I want to revel in the moment.
Yeah.
Mom is like, push through. So here we are, 11 to 18, dealing with everything that an adolescent teenage female has to deal with no father figure who was integral in your life. God, this speaks to home right now for me. I want to take a moment and be in that. You know what I mean?
And I guess that's why I say you can't get that time back, because my dad had already laid the foundation. We didn't give my mom any troubles. We didn't give her any problems. We had a solid foundation already laid. You respect your mother. You respect your parents. You're God-fearing. You know who you are when you walk out this door. That foundation had already been laid. It wasn't like she was picking up, raising us from this at 11 on up. They had already laid the foundation from the very beginning.
Shout out to the Rose family.
Yeah. So that's where that hyphen comes in at. It carries a lot of weight.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
It does.
Oh, we can go into that.
We can go into it. I'm here. I'm your guest.
All right, so, no, okay. I told you off rip.
Okay,
so LaKenya is the honorary co-host for today's episode. I respect it, everything that you say, as it relates to your father, mother, childhood, being raised, and the last name. I just believe that. So LaKenya's last name is Rose
Barrett.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe in the hyphen. It got to go. Your middle name becomes Rose. So let's talk about why.
Different strokes for different folks, man.
It is,
Let's talk about why.
Yeah.
First, let me shout out to my husband.
Yeah, big ups to your husband.
Because he supported me 100% with that decision. No pushback.
Bigger man than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of
Hold
men.
on.
Because you just told me that you wouldn't do it. So
you ain't gotta say yes. I mean, so quick.
But my husband, he supports me in that way. He loves me in that way.
Yeah.
He knows what that name means to me. He
Yeah.
knows what that means. And prior to us getting married, I already had a business in that name. I was already established in that name, and he was okay with it.
So does the traditional sense of dropping your last name mean that you lose your identity?
It does not. But for me, it was my way of continuing. My dad never had any sons. So
How many girls?
2 girls.
Okay. Shout out to that.
2 girls. But yeah, he understood that.
So you continue it, but you have a son.
I do.
Is he Rose Barrett?
No, he's not. I'm my dad's child.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that from my son's father.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that. I'm my dad's child. And that name means something to me.
Yeah. No, I respect
and then
it.
I guess my big thing is, what is your pushback? I hear some men say that, but do you know what your last name means to you?
Absolutely do.
So you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't know that.
Paul Cuffey was the first free black man to actually land. His name is Paul Cuffey, Cuffe, no 2 E's. Was the first black man to land here in the United States. Okay. We can go down that whole road. But at any rate, I respect the decision. I don't. Here's the thing that we have to understand about this cancel culture. You and I can disagree or differ in our opinions.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I have a lack of respect for your decision. And I'm hopeful that it's not the same on my end, right? Your dad was amazing. And obviously, I've never met the man, but like, as a father of 2 girls, homage, respect, love it. You know what I mean? However, for me, with the last name, specifically, the Bible says the man and woman cleave to each other.
That's right.
So that's where I leave it at. You know what I'm saying?
So does a last name make you cleave even more? What does that cleave mean to you?
It means we become one.
We become one, right?
So there's no hyphenation in one.
We become one.
Yes, we do.
So does a name make us one, or does our actions make us one?
100% it's the actions make you one.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But that's all a part of it. Your action of taking on my last name, right, means something. It means that we are lockstep. Mo, I learned that word from you. We are lockstep in every movement that we do.
I just disagree.
No, that's cool.
I have a saying on Kingdom Talks. I say, we won't always agree, but we will laugh, cry, and grow together.
Yes.
I'm okay with disagreeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't agree with you. That doesn't make us one. That last name doesn't make us one.
It does not make you one.
My actions to you as a wife, the way I honor you and respect you as my husband.
Yeah.
So that last name, yes, it has meaning to me, and it may show the world something, but what am I showing you? Am I respecting you?
Yeah. Yeah.
The first thing I led with is, hey, I have to give props to my husband.
100%. And I will never like. I don't believe in absolutes either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So there are situations and circumstances where I can be, I guess, persuaded or talked off the ledge or whatever. And I respect the decision because I understand the history and the story behind it. Right. So that does mean something, right? Not moving in on you or anything like that, but let's just say we were about to embark upon a marriage. I would get that. I don't know where it would end up, but I understand it. And so with Kingdom Talks, the Vision Lab, like, we're open to dialogue, and I think that's the thing that cancel culture has done, is that you either see it my way or it's over. Like, no, that's not life.
How can we grow? How can we learn if we all have the same?
I respect it 100%. Yeah. So that was a super, super difficult time in your life. I want to talk about another difficult time in your life. Alopecia.
Yeah.
Okay. What has that process been like? Because we talked a little bit offline, and you're like, I haven't always been this bold or fierce, but I'm walking in my fearlessness now.
Yeah. So let me start by saying alopecia is something that I battled throughout my childhood.
Which I would have never known.
Exactly. Sometimes it would come away, come back. My hair would grow back. But probably in my late 20s, it was not growing back. So I made the decision, okay, I'll go ahead and shave my head and just wear wigs. But it's something about being seasoned and turning 40, 41. The world is about to get all of this. But, it kind of started before then, probably around 35. I would go different places without my wig. But at 40, 41, I'm like, hey.
It is what it is.
Listen. Now, that's not saying tomorrow you may see me and I might have hair down my back. I don't know. But.
Can I do it too?
You can do whatever you want.
Hey, boo-boo. Come on.
But you're going to get, this is me. You're going to get me. You're going to get all of this. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So what were the battles like? And the reason why I want to specifically highlight this is because some of you guys are dealing with your own personal struggles, right? It may not be alopecia. It may be something else. And you're afraid to walk fearlessly and bolden and in power. But I wanted to bring you on the show specifically for this reason, right? What did that process look like for you?
So, again, I have to give my husband his props.
Shout out to the king.
Yes, shout out to him. He is so amazing in the sense that he asked me, babe, for our wedding, please just wear your bald head. He asked me to do it. I'm like, no way, I'm not doing that with my wedding pictures. So, but he loves me.
You.
He loves me.
Not your appearance.
He loves me.
Your soul.
Now, I love me, But it's something about when you meet a man and your mate loves you too. That's how you know that's how you know it's the one. And he loves me. So he did help with that. He would always push, babe, you don't have to wear your wig. Don't wear your wig. You don't have to do that.
Did he know you before?
He knew me before. We were friends. But he didn't know me without my wig. He didn't know me without my wig until we got into a relationship.
Yeah.
And he loved it.
What were some of the struggles that you had to deal with, whether it be inside of the relationship or just you being comfortable with you in your late 20s, early 30s?
So I feel extremely blessed because this is the season for wigs. I mean, I just happened to be in a season where wigs were okay. It hasn't always been like that. So by the time I was going completely bald, wigs were the thing to do. And so I was fortunate in that way. But of course you have those conversations like, gosh, why is this happening to me?
Yeah, for sure.
I wish this wouldn't happen, But I don't have a lot of those times where I questioned who I am, or I don't have a lot of those times. Yeah, it's normal to feel sad, but I don't have a lot of those times. Go ahead, Mo.
I want to know if there was a fork in the road moment or a seminal moment where you were just like, you know what, LaKenya, this is what it's going to be. And you mentioned, 40, 41, but like, was there a particular event moment where you were just like, I'm doing me and this is what it's going to be. If you got a problem with it, hey, whatever.
Yes, it was a night. I remember that night very clearly. I have a girlfriend who was launching a business. I was getting dressed and I'm like, listen, I did my makeup. I was ready. I'm like, I do not feel like putting this wig on tonight. They're about to get whatever I give them. And that's exactly what they got. And so I went, had a great time. I didn't think anything of it because, again, I hadn't been out without my wig. But
you had not?
I had.
Okay.
Like, around family, different family functions, they had seen me. But this was my first time going to, like, a social event, probably one of the first times. And so that night, I just happened to take a picture. I'm like, oh, gosh, I look beautiful. I don't know if you all have those conversations, but I was like, gosh.
I say that every day.
Okay. I was like, gosh, I look beautiful.
And you do.
What? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to post this picture. And I posted on social media.
And blew up.
It was.
Was that Q4 of last year?
It was.
And
it was.
So you got. So I didn't see the picture.
Uh-huh.
So to give context, Kenya and I went to school together, right? If people hadn't picked that up, but I do remember roughly. I think it was October 14th, 2022. You actually did a video. Like, look, I know y'all got a lot of questions, so I don't know if that picture was. I'm assuming it was prior to that.
It was a few days before then, and because I had a ton of DMs, I had text messages, I had phone calls. People had questions, and so I'm like, you know what? The easiest way to approach this is just to do a video and post it, and so that's what I did.
And I'm glad you did. I'm grateful that you did because that is what wanted me to get you on the show.
Really?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so many men, so many women have their anchors in what they feel is superficial and that defines them. That they don't really know themselves, right? If we're being honest.
Yeah.
But B, they walk in fear. Like, what is Mo gonna say about me if I? Hell, I struggled with it as a man who's balding, right? Shout out to my partner who's got a full head of hair.
Full head of lettuce.
Thick.
Thick.
Yeah.
My hair was better than his, but
don't say that. I said
was.
I'm on people like fast and give up things for Lent and all that stuff, whatever. Like, I've set a personal goal for myself in the real estate world, and so it's gonna grow until we hit that goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I've told you several times over.
Yeah. The last time I cut it off, you were like, "Don't cut that hair, please."
Don't cut it, because some of us can't grow back. But so many of us are wrapped up into our physical appearance as a definition of who we are externally. And that is why I wanted to have you on the show. And I didn't see your posts because I'm not on the platform that you use very often. But when I did see it, it may have been in January or whatever. I was like, I told Mo, like, we got to get her on the show. We finally had some conversations, and then we finally were able to make it happen. But I mean, we're almost a year ago from that post where you're walking in freedom. You know what I mean? But I think it's so vitally important for people to accept who you are, the way that God made you, and be unapologetic about it, right? And I tip my hat to you.
Thank you.
Commend you, applaud you, and I'm so proud of you. We didn't have a really close relationship in high school, right? So I don't know what weight those words mean, but I really am sincerely like proud of you for like walking in your boldness. You know what I mean? I want you to take the opportunity to look into your camera.
Okay.
Talk to the people and tell them whatever it is that they're struggling with, whether it be alopecia or whatever. Like, it is okay. And give your testimony to them.
Okay, so this is my camera?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would say, it starts with the inside, like Ryan said. When I started doing inside work, the outside reflected what was going on the inside. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we let society dictate what's right, what's beautiful, what should be, instead of listening to, hey, God created me this way for a purpose. God loves me enough to give me this. This is how God made me uniquely different. And it's not easy. It's not going to always be easy. But you embrace it because it's you. You only get one life. So why not live that one life in all of your glory in the way that God created you? So,
A wise man once said, you might as well get comfortable being you. Everybody else is taken.
That's right.
Ooh.
Everybody else is taken.
Be
Be
the
you.
best you.
And it's funny because I was actually, that thought, a version of that thought crossed my mind today. So.
I know. You told me about it.
I did? Well, I'm eternally grateful, honestly, for anyone that's struggling with whatever is holding you back, whether that be physically, mentally, or emotionally. We encourage you to walk through it. You heard Kenya talk about pressing forward as her mom and father imparted that wisdom on her life when she was young. So we want you to press forward, press through it. You'll get there. You'll get to the other side. And I've always said this, Mo. I've always used the term fear, but you could substitute any word on that. Everything that you want is on the other side of
Fear, hard, difficult, hurt, all that. Yep.
I truly believe it.
Pain, all that.
Truly believe
And
it.
not to interrupt you.
No, you don't.
It's a
Come on.
podcast. Go ahead.
But I think it starts with mindset.
That's what we do.
So even earlier when you gave your analogy about inside being the vessel, your soul, you said there's two sides.
Yeah.
So I always like to think in positivity. What am I leading with? What am I going to live inside of? I grew up very religious, very religious.
Daddy was a
church,
preacher, wasn't he?
in the church.
Come on now.
But I had to get my own relationship with God, not what someone told me, not what I had been indoctrinated with. And once I stopped giving power to a negative force, people say, "Oh, the devil did this," or "the devil," and once I took that away and lived in God and lived in that mindset that, hey, there's no devil. I'm not going to live in. I think we get caught up in this whole, sometimes we can give the devil just as much power as God.
Mm-hmm.
But once we remember who our creator is and the power that he has, and you live inside of that, you no longer live in fear.
I think it was about 6 months ago. Could be off or could be wrong. But I remember, or maybe it could have even been a social media post that said, y'all are giving too much power to the enemy and you don't understand who gave the enemy its power.
That part.
And that was like, whoa. Like, we are so
fascinated with this imaginary something that's chasing you down.
Yeah, it's like, but hold up, you don't even realize who created you and created the heavens, the earth, the trees, the like everything that you want to give, you know, Satan or the enemy all this power, but who created him?
But I don't even have to live in that. If we're gonna take the Bible for what it is,
Sure,
we're gonna take it, right?
yeah,
So when Jesus died on the cross, what happened? He paid it all, right?
yep.
So therefore, I don't have to live in fear. It's already paid for.
Come on, sis.
I can walk in my greatness. I think I can walk in my life.
I received
that. Doesn't
that.
say life is not going to be difficult. There's not going to be times I'm frustrated. Hey, I was frustrated at work today, but that's life. But I know I'm still great. God still has me. However this turns out, God has it. God is going to make it work. If I stay committed to God and I keep my faith in God and nothing else beside that, I know my outcome is going to be what it needs to be. I'm okay. I'm good.
We could do a whole nother sermon, a whole nother message, a whole nother podcast about that. Real quickly, Mo, if it's okay with you, can we land the plane?
Proceed, sir.
Okay. I'd love for you to give again the opportunity. I'd love for you to give your social media handles to all the visionaries that are tuning in.
Okay. To listen to my podcast, to follow us.
Oh yes, we didn't even talk about our podcast.
Floor is open now. Go ahead.
We'll get there.
Well,
we'll get there.
it's Queendom Talks. Although it's named Queendom Talks, it's for everyone. It's
I was going to say, do y'all discriminate against the male gender on Queendom Talks?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not
All right,
at
real
all.
quick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can follow us on social media at Queendom Talks. Follow us, and wherever you listen to podcasts, listen to us. Again, my real estate business is the Rose Group Real Estate Team. You can find us on social media under the Rose Group Real Estate Team. And if you want to call me to be a guest or to be because you need assistance with real estate, you can reach me at 817-523-9644.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Your husband ain't gonna track nobody down and handle them up, is he?
Yeah, it's not every day somebody just gives out their phone number on this show. Most people give an email address.
That's your
social
real
media
number, or is
handle.
that?
That is my real number.
Oh my God!
But again,
What's your husband's name? What's your
My
husband's
husband's name is Dante.
Dante, hey, listen. If you're watching this episode, brother, we did not put her up to giving out her personal number. We respect you, King. I've known Kenya for 20 plus years. I'm not trying to put her out there like that.
So again, I led this conversation with respect for my king.
Yeah,
for my husband.
I get it. I get it.
Even if you
don't have Dante coming back
with
for me and Mo.
Yeah, it won't.
I'm gonna tell him
he's
it's
a
Ryan
very
Mosley.
secure man.
I'm gonna tell him it's Ryan Mosley.
Got nothing to do with me, Chief.
Yeah.
Got nothing to do with me. I'm good to go at my house. So before we do land the plane, you are the host of Queendom Talks. Like,
Yes.
it's a podcast. We
Yes.
are a podcast. Like, please tell us about Queendom Talks.
Queendom Talks, I initially had the dream or the vision. I actually put it on my vision board in 2018.
Okay.
Hey, I want to do a podcast.
Okay.
I had the name picked out, Queendom Talks. And what I lead with, this is our safe place to discuss all of the things that goes on in our queendoms. We won't always agree, but we will laugh, grow, and grow together. So that's kind of what I lead with. But it's just a platform for different people to come on to tell their story. It could be anything. I actually had my last guest.
So you had a sex.
I did. We talk about a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we had one too.
A sexologist.
Yeah, sexologist.
Shout out to you, good.
That's not our space.
Yeah, it's not her space, but yeah.
That is not our space.
That's a story for you off camera.
Yeah. I also had a first lady come on to tell us what it's like.
First lady of what?
Of a church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to tell us what it's like being in her position. The episode that'll be dropping this week is a former police officer, a black woman, what that was like for her. I mean, so I've had a variety.
Is it Afrocentric?
It's for everyone.
There you go.
When does it come out?
Every Friday at 10:10.
Why 10/10?
That's my birthday.
Ooh.
October 10th.
Everything has a purpose.
I'm telling you.
Everything has a
she
purpose.
said 10/10 like it was just
Yeah,
like, no.
like-
There, as soon as I was like, okay, there's
10/10.
clearly a meaning behind
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I love it. I love it. So Queendom Talks, y'all. Make sure you tune in every
Yes.
Friday at 10:10 a.m.
A.M.
Okay,
On all major platforms.
on
That's
all
right.
major platforms. Y'all go support LaKenya Rose Barrett. Amazing person. This has been very enriching for me. Love the conversation around your father. Love the conversation around alopecia. Love the conversation around real estate. So, listen, if you moving to Dallas, if you're looking to do an investment property, if you're looking to buy a home for the first time, please reach out to LaKenya. She's you. I promise you will be in good hands. You got a chance to get to know her over the last little bit of the podcast, but we encourage you guys to reach out. Mo, I think it's that time.
It is time to land the plane. That being said, LaKenya, we ask these questions to everyone on the show.
Okay.
It is you. There's an imaginary round table.
Okay.
You get to have 5 other guests plus yourself. Who are the 5 people, dead or alive, that you would like to have at your table? And the only stipulation we put on it is that you can't have God at your table. That's
Okay.
too easy, obviously. Or Jesus, or Peter, or
Yeah,
Paul, or
yeah,
John the
yeah.
Baptist.
No, you can have them.
That's too easy. That's
I don't want them. I don't want them. Who? Of course, I would go and get my dad. My dad would definitely be there.
Yeah.
I would want Michelle Obama,
okay.
and let me tell you why. Because she embraced and supported a man in the highest office, but she never lost sight of who she was and what her vision was.
Yep.
She was also a good mother. And she
Great.
still has a great mother. And she's still married. I don't know what's going on the inside, but from the outside, it looks like a healthy marriage.
Well,
and so,
I hate to cut you off.
okay.
In regard being married, right? Like, no marriage is 1,000% sunshine and rainbows, right? Like,
Exactly.
there's a yin and yang between man and woman. Like, inherently, there's just going to be some friction because we're wired differently, but that's just the nature of the beast.
Yes, sir.
But to your point, to the outside, hey, it's all good. They I'm sure they have their disagreements between the two, but that ain't for public consumption.
And that she will tell
Speak
you
on
that.
that.
And
Yeah,
that's how I view marriage. Marriage is a great thing, but it's work.
Like, I'm coming up on 9 years being married, and I'm not trading my wife for anybody. Like, I
That's
tell people
right.
all the time, like, I refuse to blow up my house for anything. But that don't mean we always see everything eye to eye. And it's just, and some of it is like, even, I mean, we wouldn't even really have like quote unquote arguments. Like, we'll have a difference of opinion or whatnot. But it's really like when we take a step back and it's like, it's just the yin and yang between man and woman. Like, there's just some things inherently, like, we just are going to view it differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle
Your dad.
Obama, my dad. Then
By the way, what's
Yeah.
your dad's name?
Kenneth.
Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Mr. Kenneth
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah. Then I would get my grandfather's grandmother.
Your grandfather's grandmother.
Grandmother.
That'll be your
Yes.
great grandmother.
No,
Yeah.
one more great.
No, her
It's a-
grandfather's grandmother. So it'd be 2 greats.
Great,
Yes,
great. Okay, yeah.
And the reason being, she is Black history to me. She was a sharecropper. She ended up owning her own store, owning her own land, going to college. Just to know what she had to endure and to see, to be able to do that during a time where it wasn't easy. I would definitely want to talk to her.
I'm just curious. Generationally speaking, you said your grandfather's
Grandmother.
grandmother, but you got 2 sets of parents.
I do.
Each of them have grandparents. Why her specifically? Because during that era, everybody was probably I don't want to say a servant or a slave, but they were in that realm. So why her specifically?
Because she was a woman
Okay.
and because she believed in entrepreneurship.
Oh.
That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
She owned her own store. She owned her own land, her own store, but these were things that she taught to my grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mo, come on.
Yeah.
So we toast on the first time that we've never heard somebody before. That
Yeah.
respect.
It's a great explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So that's
sure.
why. I have 2 more spots.
Yep.
Do you need a recap?
Yeah, go ahead.
You got
Michelle Obama
Michelle Obama, your father,
and your
grandmother's
great grandmother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You got 2 seats. Gotta fill them.
Got to fill the party up now.
I don't know. Let's see. Again, I don't know because I am not led by money. So you talking to me, I
We
don't
don't
want
care.
to.
There's
I
no-
know. So
there's no
I'm just
right or
trying
wrong
I'm
answer
just
to
trying
it.
to think.
Listen, this is your
No,
table.
no, that's my table.
So let me tell you something. You got
I keep
you
my
got-
circle. I keep my circle small.
You do. You told me
I
that
do,
beforehand, right?
yeah.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats. Like I'm not here. You got 5 seats, and this is your table, and you know
Dinner's paid for. Like
dinner's
it's-
paid
we
for.
just
What do you want to learn from them?
Okay. So if that's the case, I would get Deepak Chopra.
Okay.
okay.
Because I want to know.
No, we've heard him before.
You sure? From
Yeah,
who?
I'm positive. It's been years, but we've heard Deepak.
Because there's a certain level. There's a different level of spiritual balance.
Yes.
It goes to that inner work
Yeah.
that we talked about, and that's really big. I don't know. I don't know.
You
who my
got
last-
no. You can't do
don't
that.
This
You
ain't
can't-
bingo.
come
You don't
on.
get a free space.
I don't know. Don't make me put. Let's see. Who would I put at the last seat?
You got your sister. You got your
No,
mom. You got.
no.
Damn, you just don't throw them.
Well,
on the
because
bus
they're
like
here now. They're
Don't
here
matter.
now.
Doesn't
Dead or
matter.
alive.
Dead or alive.
Well, if that's the case, I would have my mom at that table.
There
There
it
you go.
is.
Mom and
And let me
dad.
tell you why.
Okay.
Because my dad was her first love, and I would want that love reunited. I would love for them to,
And it feels so good.
and it feels so good. So I would do that. Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's been a lot that we've uncovered and we talked about, and I personally am grateful for your transparency and your willingness to open up. You know, we are a week or so away from my birthday, and it grounds me, and it reminds me to be to focus on fatherhood and providing, etc. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you answered the phone and we connected. You know, obviously it was business, but you know, it ended up being, you know, side of business or whatever. So I'm very grateful for it. I would love to ask, what is the long-term vision for LaKenya Rose Barrett? That was hard for me to say.
Because of the rose.
Not because of the rose, but because of the rose.
My long-term vision for myself would probably be just talking to people, in the sense of podcasting. I don't even know if it would be podcasting. I think I just want to touch people in a way where they're balanced and they're okay with being who they are. And there's a reason behind that.
So,
If you don't, I wasn't always secure in embracing my spiritual gifts.
oh,
Yeah. And so I think it would be more spiritual, more spirit-led, not biblical, not religion, very much so spiritual.
I'm definitely on the spiritual wavelength.
Okay.
I believe in Christ, but I think that religion and doctrine has completely changed the
The waters have been muddied.
100%. Yes,
That's right.
that's a great way to put it. But I don't think God cares about your religion. He cares about your spirituality. Are you able to? I'm just curious, since you said that.
Okay.
can you touch people and tell their energies, their vibrations, etc.?
I am very sensitive to people's energy and vibration.
Okay.
But more so, I guess for me, it would be more spirits. Yeah.
Negative.
No, like spirits, like ghosts. Like.
Okay, we're gonna do this
okay,
offline.
yeah.
We're gonna do this. Hey, can you hold on? Can you commit online or on camera to shaking my hand and doing this offline?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Cool. And
Yeah.
she's got a firm handshake, by the way. She's a woman of business. I love it.
That's right.
All right. So normally I ask a series of questions at this particular time of the show. I want to do something just a tad bit different, but within the same vein that you've heard me ask before, Mo. You're a woman of fashion. I do know that.
Okay.
Okay. So if LaKenya Rose Barrett was a shoe, what would be your shoe? Yes. So you gotta hit them where where they feel it. You are a designer shoe. What shoe would best represent LRB?
No. I don't think there's
Not a dollar amount. It's not a dollar amount.
It's not a dollar
It's
amount.
not a
And
dollar
the reason
amount.
why I can't commit to a shoe because I think a shoe goes with what's going on.
So
Yeah,
it's
like-
summertime. Okay,
so
fine.
it's a sandal.
It's
a sandal.
It's a sandal.
It's
Such
very-
an answer of a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
I
is.
can't commit to. I just can't commit to being.
Well,
with
no,
a shoe.
but
you know,
watch-
it depends on where you're taking
See,
me. Where
as a
am I
man,
going?
you gotta pivot. You gotta learn how to pivot.
It would
But
be
right now,
strappy.
Okay.
It would have one little simple strap, nice high heel, nice high. Yeah,
so you're a sandal with a heel.
definitely.
Okay, so you're
Not a
complex.
flat- Oh, no, no judgment. Sorry.
So you're complex.
Mm.
Okay. I can, now let's fast forward 3 months from now. We'll be, middle of Cowboy season. I'm sorry, football season. What does that look like?
As far as a shoe,
Yeah,
I can still wear that same strappy heel.
because you're in Texas.
I'm in Texas.
Okay.
And you can dress that heel up or you can dress it down.
Okay. So now we're in January.
Give me a nice boot.
What color?
Black is my go-to.
Okay.
Black is my
What does that symbolize
What does black symbolize?
to you?
me?
What is the LaKenya,
it's-
the LRB boot that we're gonna come out with? By the way, is a TVLP boot.
It's a collaboration.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not called. It's our boot.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's
Okay.
where you're going.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Understood.
But this model is the LRB.
Understood. I got
You
you.
feel me?
So who has ownership?
I do.
We do.
Well, I can't give you my boot. I understand how ownership works. We can talk about
Yeah,
the paperwork.
residuals?
We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
no residuals. I need ownership.
That-
we, can
that's-
we can partner on
Okay,
the deal.
okay.
Okay.
See,
but
Mo,
no-
you threw us under the bus.
Well, you asked it, but it's okay. It's all
All right,
good.
no,
But
but for
black,
real.
what black means to me, it's classy, it's powerful. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. It's classy and it's powerful.
What kind of toe is it?
Pointy toe.
It's a pointy toe, not
Yeah, 'cause
square
you're
toe.
serious, no square toe.
It's a bug killer.
What do the heels look like?
Oh, it's a tall heel.
What are we looking like? 4?
4,
Okay.
5, yeah.
Oh.
You're not playing any games.
No,
with
you
this.
are not
You're-
with the
you're coming
5.
in with this
You are
business.
not- you are
mean
not with the
business
5.
with this heel.
You are not
You
with the
mean
5.
business.
Can I wear it to a business meeting, or
You
can
can.
she wear it to a business? Because I promise you, I will not be wearing it. Because you
You
got
better not.
okay, so you
you
might
better
want to
not.
drop it down to a 4.
No,
You're not playing no
I'm
games.
not playing no games. But you don't. Have
Okay, so now,
It depends on what else you have going on.
yeah, but now you got me thinking more like nightlife.
No, it's not nightlife.
Yeah,
Nothing-
so we gotta drop
nothing
it.
trashy about it.
We gotta drop
Everything
it.
classy about it.
Okay. So, are we bedazzling it?
No,
Okay,
no. Simple and classy.
simple and classic. Okay,
Simple
what
and
kind of
classy.
leather we working with?
Why? I feel like you're trying to take my shoe and go make some money off
No,
of it.
no.
We just gotta leave it right there.
Maybe I'm giving you a shoe to work.
That's not my passion.
Oh, yeah.
that's
So
not my
then
passion.
it's not mine either.
Yeah,
Because
so we
believe
can
me, I
just-
do not know
yeah.
about women's shoes.
Yeah, we can just leave it right there. Yeah.
All right, I love it. All right, so that was fun.
Yeah, it
by
was
the
fun.
way, we got to have some fun. So, by the way, you are invited. Mo, is this okay?
By all means.
To collab with us at any point in time,
Well, thank you.
LaKenya, to co-host with us. As we talk to people that are doing amazing things within their own, within their own right. Always welcome to come into the lab.
Thanks.
But in case you didn't know, we do have a magical time machine here in the lab.
Okay.
What advice would LaKenya Rose Barrett be giving herself from 5 years ago?
5 years ago.
34, 35, 36 years old. What advice, if you're looking back today, what advice are you giving yourself?
I would tell myself, I'm on the right path. Don't be so hard on yourself. I'm on the right path. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. Yep.
I could press in on that, but for the sake of time, I won't. We're going to fast forward the clock.
Okay.
5 years from now.
Okay.
Your babies are a little bit older.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
That hit.
Yeah.
What advice are you giving yourself? What advice is the older version of yourself giving yourself today? So the 43, 4 or 5 year old is looking back to you today in July of 2023, and they're saying,
What?
What?
I'm saying hug your son a little bit longer because he's going off to school now.
Mm.
Yeah, he's leaving me. Structure is what it is, but it doesn't have to operate in your house. There's a time and place for it. Don't miss out on the opportunities that you can't get back. Don't have a poor mindset. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. Don't continue to do that. Don't continue to do that.
I had that moment today, bro.
Mm.
I thought about it. I was like, A is going to be 18 years old in 5 years. What do you do? And we got into it. Actually, we did not get into it, but she did something that I had to be like, look, baby,
Too much dip on your chip.
you need to put a little bit of that dip back. You understand what I'm saying? And that's fine because we parent. And we never got to the part of the conversation, I'm not your friend. I don't desire to be your friend. I got plenty of friends. I got plenty of acquaintances. I got plenty of personal, professional acquaintances and contacts. I do not need you in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
We are not friends.
We are not the same.
We are not the same. I am your father. So it's interesting that you say that 5 years from now as we fast forward that clock. And I think too many parents, I'm getting off on a diatribe here, but too many parents are trying to be their kids' friends. I don't care to be your friend. I don't. I care about your well-being, your livelihood.
Making sure you're prepared for when I'm not here.
Yes. Yeah, because it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So, but.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I would say still leave room. Because sometimes when you say, oh, I'm your father and I'm your parent, there's no room for them to be and embrace who they are. Like, to grow. Like, yes, you're her father, and yes, you're going to set, you have expectations, you have rules, you have guidelines, you have boundaries. But I'm your father that you can come to and you can talk to.
Yeah.
I'm your father that want to know what happened at school today.
Yeah.
I'm your father that, hey, let's just go and get some ice cream. Let's just go for a ride.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that space is there.
No, we have that.
Okay, good.
We have that. We'll talk offline, specific to,
Yeah.
where we are.
Yeah.
But We have it, but I'm not going to, and I'm talking to you right now because Zuri's younger. You don't ever sacrifice parenting to be the lifeline of open dialogue. Like I just don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like you always want to make sure that they understand that, look, I'm always going to have your, like, it's all about the
it's the balance of it all, especially with girls.
It's a balance. It's a balance, but it's also setting the tone. Right? But that's a podcast for another day, and maybe you and I need to have it
Indeed
soon. But I want to pay a lot of respect to LRB, Miss LaKenya Rose Barrett. She's convinced me with the hyphen.
Thank you.
For the time being.
Thank you.
I'm tremendously grateful for you to share your story, for you to share your light, for you to share a part of you with all of our visionaries worldwide. Visionaries, thank you so much for tuning in. Each one of our visionaries that are dropping into the lab are sharing nuggets of wisdom here on the Trail of Life. Ultimately, my friends, it's up to you to pick them up.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Mosley. He is Ryan Cuffey. Thank you again to our guest, Ms. LaKenya Rose Barrett of the Rose Group, the host of Queendom Talks, the podcast. And we'll see you guys next time on another great episode of the Vision Lab Podcast.
Blessings.